My friends, the world you see before you is a reflection of the unseen. What you bring into your home, what you allow into your sacred space, carries an energy that shapes your reality. Everything has a vibration, a resonance that either lifts you toward the light or drags you into darkness. The unseen forces that influence your life are not random. They are drawn to the energy you entertain. Everything in existence vibrates at a certain frequency, carrying an energy that influences the space around it. Objects are not lifeless. They absorb and emit the energy they have been exposed to, shaping the atmosphere of your home and affecting your mental and emotional state. An object that has been surrounded by love, joy, and positive intention will carry that energy, just as an item associated with pain, fear, or resentment will hold on to those vibrations. People often overlook this truth, dismissing their surroundings as mere decoration. Yet the energy within objects subtly shapes their reality in ways they may not even recognize. Consider an old gift from someone who betrayed you. The object itself may seem harmless, a piece of jewelry, a book, or a photograph, but every time you see it, it stirs something within you. It reminds you of what was lost, of the emotions tied to that chapter of your life. Even when you are not consciously thinking about it, the energy of that object lingers, feeding the subconscious with whispers of the past. Without realizing it, you keep yourself tethered to a reality you wish to move beyond. The object does not just sit there. It speaks, it influences, it holds a space for what once was. Likewise, items that come from unknown sources carry unknown energy. Antique, second-hand objects and artifacts from distant places all bear the imprint of the hands that have held them, the emotions they have absorbed, and the intentions that have been placed upon them. A seemingly beautiful statue, a decorative piece, or a gifted relic may bring with it an energy that conflicts with your spirit. Without knowing its history, you invite the unseen into your home, unaware of what may be attached to it. Objects can serve as conduits, holding on to vibrations that attract or repel certain forces, shaping the spiritual atmosphere around you. Even common items, when tied to certain belief systems, can impact your energy field. Symbols of destruction, paintings depicting suffering, books filled with negative ideas. These things are not just materials, they are carriers of the thoughts and emotions they represent. The mind absorbs what the eyes see, and the energy of the object blends with the energy of the home. When people wonder why they feel uneasy, anxious, or drained in their own space, they often fail to realize that their surroundings are constantly feeding them signals, reinforcing patterns of thought and emotion that they unknowingly accept. Some items become storage places for unresolved emotions. Clothing from a painful period in your life, letters from someone who caused you harm, broken items that were once significant. All of these things hold on to the energy of their past. They sit in corners, hidden in drawers, but their presence remains active. Just as a scent can trigger a memory, an object can trigger an energy shift, keeping emotions alive long after the event has passed. The past lingers not just in the mind, but in the things that surround you. There are also objects that are charged with intention, whether by you or by others. When something is given with love, it carries that love. When something is given with ill intentions, it carries those as well. This is why people often feel uneasy receiving gifts from certain individuals or inheriting things from those they had no connection with. The energy does not belong to them, yet it enters their space, creating a subtle but real shift. An object may seem ordinary, yet if its presence stirs discomfort, it is because energy does not lie. The feeling is a signal, an inner knowing that something is not in alignment. The things you keep closest to you influence your state of being. The objects in your home are not just decorations. They are reflections of your inner world. They can either support the reality you want to create or keep you bound to one you wish to escape. When your surroundings are filled with items that carry low vibrations, it becomes harder to elevate your mind, to feel at peace, and to align with the life you desire. Most people do not realize that their home is either a sanctuary or a prison. built not just with walls, but with the energy of what they choose to keep within it. Every item holds a presence, an essence shaped by its history, its purpose, and the energy it has absorbed over time. What you allow into your space is what you invite into your life. The space you create around you is not empty. Every object, every image, every sound contributes to the energy of your environment. And that energy is not just something you feel, it is something that unseen forces respond to. The world you see is only a fraction of what exists. And just as light attracts light, darkness is drawn to darkness. When you surround yourself with disorder, with objects that carry pain, with symbols of destruction or chaos, you are not just shaping your mood, you are sending out an invitation. Unseen forces, both positive and negative, are always present, waiting for an opening, responding to the energy that you cultivate. They do not force their way into your life. They arrive because they are aligned with what you hold on to, with what you believe, with what you permit to exist in your space. A home filled with peace, clarity, and intention repels lower energies, making it difficult for negativity to take hold. On the other hand, a space filled with confusion, resentment, and disorder becomes a breeding ground for forces that thrive in such conditions. These forces do not create the state of your home. They are drawn to it because it already resonates with what they seek. There are places where you can walk in and immediately feel the weight of something unseen. The air feels heavy, the energy feels stagnant, and an unexplainable discomfort lingers. This is not imagination, it is recognition. Your spirit senses the presence of something that has settled in that space, something that was allowed to take root. Just as dust gathers when a room is neglected, energy accumulates where it is not deliberately shaped. The unseen responds to what is left unguarded, to what is passively accepted rather than actively chosen. Symbols, images, and objects all carry messages that extend beyond the physical. A statue placed in a home is not just decoration, it represents something, and what it represents carries energy. A book is not just words on paper. It is a collection of ideas, and those ideas influence the thoughts of whoever reads them. A piece of artwork, no matter how small, projects an energy, whether that energy is uplifting or oppressive. These things are not inert. They are statements of belief, and belief is what unseen forces respond to. Even music, sounds, and spoken words hold power in shaping the spiritual atmosphere. A home filled with words of gratitude, with affirmations of faith, with music that uplifts the soul, creates an energy that attracts the divine. But a space filled with anger, gossip, and words that diminish rather than build will invite forces that feed on that vibration. The unseen does not discriminate. It simply follows the energy it recognizes. What you entertain, what you allow to exist in your environment, sets the tone for the forces that will linger there. The placement of objects and the condition of your surroundings are not just matters of organization, they are signals that unseen forces interpret. A home filled with broken things, with neglected corners, with items that have lost their purpose, reflects an energy of stagnation and decay. Just as nature abhors a vacuum, the spiritual realm does not tolerate emptiness. It will be filled one way or another by the energy you generate through your environment. This is why spaces that are deliberately cultivated with intention feel different from spaces that are merely left to exist without thought. There are certain items that act as spiritual anchors, holding on to energies from the past, tethering a space to emotions or events long gone. An old mirror that has reflected years of sorrow, a chair where arguments were repeatedly had, a piece of jewelry passed down through generations with a history unknown to you. All of these things carry energy that unseen forces recognize and respond to. Just because you do not see the imprint does not mean it is not there. The energy remains, influencing the space, shaping the unseen dynamics that unfold within it. What exists in your environment is never neutral. It either reinforces clarity or invites confusion, either strengthens you or drains you. The unseen forces that surround you do not impose themselves upon you. They align with what you have already chosen, whether consciously or unconsciously. What you keep, what you discard, what you allow to remain in your space, determines the kind of presence that lingers. Every attachment carries energy, and not all energy serves your highest good. There are things, people, and memories that you hold on to, believing they are harmless, yet they silently weigh down your spirit. These attachments, built on pain, resentment, or unresolved emotions, act as doorways, openings through which negativity enters, settles, and grows. Darkness does not force its way in. It is welcomed, invited by the very things you refuse to release. The past lingers not just in your mind, but in the objects you keep, the thoughts you entertain, and the emotions you refuse to let go of. When you hold on to something tied to a painful experience, you are not just keeping a memory, you are keeping an energy. A letter from someone who betrayed you, an item gifted by someone who hurt you, an old photograph that brings back sorrow. These things may seem small, but they hold a vibration that connects you to that moment. And as long as they remain in your space, so does the energy attached to them. They serve as silent reminders, constantly pulling your spirit back to the very thing you wish to move beyond. You may think you have let go, but as long as the attachment remains, so does the connection. Darkness enters through emotions that have not been healed. The anger that lingers, the bitterness that festers, the heartbreak that remains unresolved. All of these create openings. They weaken your spiritual defenses, making you more susceptible to forces that thrive in low vibrations. You may not see these forces, but you feel their effects. Exhaustion that has no explanation, anxiety that seems to come from nowhere, a heaviness that follows you even in moments of joy. These are not random experiences. They are symptoms of an energy that has taken hold, feeding off the very attachments you refuse to sever. Some attachments are tied to relationships long ended, yet their presence continues to shape your reality. Holding on to an ex-lover's possessions, wearing jewelry given by someone who deceived you, keeping old messages that stir up painful emotions. All of these are ties to the past that prevent new blessings from entering. The unseen responds to what you keep close. If your space is filled with symbols of betrayal, of loss, of broken trust, then you will continue to experience the energy of those things in your present life. The past remains alive, not because time has not moved forward, but because your attachments refuse to release it. Even places can carry an imprint of negative attachments. A home where arguments were frequent, a room where suffering was experienced, a space where sorrow settled. These places absorb energy, and if nothing is done to cleanse them, they remain charged with the emotions that were poured into them. This is why some places feel heavy the moment you step into them. The walls remember, the air holds on to the tension, and unseen forces gather, responding to the energy that remains. The same applies to your personal belongings. If an object has been present in moments of deep despair, it does not remain neutral. It carries a weight, and that weight continues to influence you. Many people unknowingly keep themselves in cycles of negativity by holding on to things that should have been released long ago. They struggle with feelings of being stuck, unable to move forward, unaware that their attachments are the chains keeping them bound. It is not enough to wish for change while keeping symbols of the past in your space. What you keep, you reinforce. What you hold on to, you invite. A person cannot expect light to fill their life while surrounding themselves with remnants of darkness. Some attachments take the form of habits, repeating the same conversations, revisiting painful memories, dwelling on past hurts. These mental and emotional loops serve as invitations, creating openings for negativity to settle deeper. Darkness does not always come in obvious forms. Sometimes It enters through the thoughts you refuse to release, through the emotions you continue to nurture. The longer you entertain these things, the stronger they become, and what was once a passing thought turns into a pattern, an energy that shapes your reality without you even realizing it. Letting go is not just about removing objects or cutting ties. It is about breaking the energetic connection that keeps the past alive. It is about recognizing that every attachment carries a consequence, that what you refuse to release continues to influence your present. Until you close the doors that negative attachments have opened, you will continue to experience the weight of their presence, and darkness will find a place to dwell where it has been given permission to stay. What you assume to be true becomes the foundation upon which your reality is built. Every belief, every expectation, every quiet conviction within you shapes the world around you, whether you realize it or not. You are never merely reacting to life. You are creating it, molding it, directing it according to the assumptions you hold deep within your mind. These assumptions are not passive thoughts. They are active forces that dictate what unfolds before you. They are the unseen architects of your experiences, drawing to you the people, circumstances, and events that align with what you believe to be real. Your environment, your relationships, your circumstances, all of it reflects the internal world you have cultivated. If you assume that life is hard, that struggle is inevitable, that success is reserved for others, then you will live in alignment with those beliefs. You will unconsciously make choices that confirm them, gravitating toward difficulty, unknowingly sabotaging opportunities, and reinforcing the very conditions you claim to despise. It is not because the world is set against you, but because you have accepted a reality where hardship is the rule. Likewise, if you assume yourself to be favored, to be worthy, to be destined for greatness, then all of life will conspire to affirm that assumption. The mind is always searching for confirmation of what it already believes. If you assume that people cannot be trusted, you will notice every betrayal, every lie, every deception, and overlook the kindness, the loyalty, the genuine love that exists. If you assume that you are not good enough, you will interpret rejection as proof of your unworthiness, instead of seeing it as redirection towards something greater. Assumptions dictate perception, and perception dictates experience. Two people can walk through the same world, yet one will see nothing but obstacles while the other sees opportunities. Because they do not see with their eyes alone, they see through the lens of their beliefs. Every assumption carries a vibration, and that vibration attracts its likeness. When you assume failure, you emit an energy that draws in circumstances to support that belief. When you assume abundance, you carry yourself in a way that invites prosperity. The unseen forces that govern this world do not respond to mere wishes or empty affirmations. They respond to deeply held convictions. You cannot trick life into giving you what you do not believe you deserve. You may speak of success, of joy, of love, but if your assumptions contradict those words, your reality will reflect what you truly hold to be true. You may look at your current situation and believe that it defines you, but it is only a reflection of past assumptions. What you are living today was shaped by thoughts and beliefs you once held, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you want to change your reality, you must change the assumptions that create it. This requires more than wishful thinking. It demands a deep, unwavering certainty that what you desire is already yours. It means no longer entertaining thoughts of doubt or fear, no longer speaking in ways that contradict your vision, no longer allowing your mind to drift back to the assumptions that have kept you bound. Your assumptions not only shape your personal reality, but also influence the people around you. When you assume greatness in yourself, others begin to see it too. When you assume that you are loved, love finds you effortlessly. When you assume that doors will open for you, they do. You do not need to force, beg, or manipulate. You need only assume with such certainty that the world has no choice but to reflect your belief. The universe does not argue with you, it simply responds. It will mirror back whatever you hold as truth, whether it lifts you up or keeps you stuck. Doubt is the great destroyer of assumption. The moment you begin to question your worth, your ability, your destiny, you send mixed signals into the unseen. You may desire one thing, but if you assume the opposite, your reality will be shaped by that contradiction. This is why so many people struggle. They wish for more, but they assume lack. They pray for peace, but they assume chaos. They dream of love, but they assume rejection. Assumption is not merely about what you want. It is about what you accept as inevitable, as unshakable, as already done. There is no force outside of you that determines your fate more than the assumptions you hold within. They are the blueprint of your existence, the silent yet powerful force behind every manifestation in your life. If you wish to change your circumstances, begin with your assumptions. If you wish to attract better, assume better. Do not wait for the world to change before you believe. Believe first, and the world will have no choice but to follow. Your space is a reflection of your inner world. It holds the energy of your past, your emotions, your experiences, and even the unseen forces that linger within it. When you step into a room, you are not just entering a physical space. You are stepping into an atmosphere shaped by everything that has taken place there. Every argument, every sorrowful thought, every moment of joy or pain leaves an imprint. The walls remember, the objects hold on to energy, and without realizing it, you are constantly absorbing the vibration of everything around you. This is why clearing your space is not just an act of tidiness, it is an act of power, a declaration of what you are willing to allow into your life. Many people live in spaces that drain them without understanding why. They feel stuck, exhausted, burdened by an invisible heaviness that follows them even when they have done nothing physically strenuous. They assume it is just stress, just life weighing down on them, but they fail to recognize that the very environment they dwell in is reinforcing this energy. Clutter, old items, broken things, objects tied to painful memories, these are not just inanimate things. They are reservoirs of energy, holding on to the past and keeping you anchored in emotions that no longer serve you. The more you keep, the more you carry, and without release, there is no room for something new to enter. Every item in your space holds meaning, whether consciously or unconsciously. The clothes you never wear, the books you no longer read, the gifts from people who are no longer in your life. Each of these things carries an association, a connection to a time, a person, or an experience. Some bring warmth, some bring nostalgia, but others bring sorrow, regret, or bitterness. And yet they remain sitting silently in corners, filling your home with an energy that influences your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. To hold on to something that no longer serves you is to remain attached to a reality that has already passed. Darkness thrives in stagnation. It is in spaces untouched for too long, in corners where dust gathers, in places where things are stored away and forgotten, that negative energy finds its dwelling. Just as fresh air revitalizes a room, movement and cleansing push out energy that has become dense and heavy. The act of clearing is not just about removing what is seen, it is about shifting what is felt. It is a way of commanding your environment, deciding that only what aligns with your highest good has a place within it. Letting go is an exercise in faith. It is an act of belief that what lies ahead is greater than what is being released. The physical act of clearing your space mirrors the clearing of the mind and soul. When you rid yourself of what is unnecessary, you create room for clarity, for peace, for the new. So many people pray for change, for transformation, for something greater. Yet they sit in spaces cluttered with reminders of an old reality. The truth is, you cannot welcome abundance into a space that still clings to scarcity. You cannot invite peace into a home that is filled with relics of past chaos. What surrounds you influences what is within you, and what is within you shapes what comes next. There is power in order, in intentionality, in deciding that everything within your space must align with the energy you wish to cultivate. The objects you keep should uplift you, inspire you, serve you in some way. If something carries the weight of bad memories, of past pain, of a version of yourself that you have outgrown, then it is not just an object, it is an anchor. And anchors do not move forward. They hold you in place, keeping you tied to the very things you wish to rise above. To release them is not just an act of cleaning. It is an act of reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your power. Clearing your space is an act of resetting your reality. It is an unspoken declaration to the universe that you are making room for something new. It is telling the unseen forces that dwell in your environment that their presence is no longer welcome, that only light, clarity, and strength may remain. It is an act of detachment, a way of proving to yourself that you do not need to hold on to things, to hold on to memories, that you do not need to surround yourself with the past to honor it. What is meant for you will always remain in spirit, but what weighs you down must be released. When you clear your space with intention, you shift the energy of everything around you. You do not just see the difference, you feel it. The air becomes lighter, your thoughts become clearer, your body feels freer. What once felt stagnant begins to flow, and suddenly new opportunities, new blessings, new experiences begin to find their way to you. This is not coincidence, this is alignment. The energy you allow to surround you becomes the energy that shapes your life. Light is not merely the presence of illumination. It is a force, a power, an energy that transforms everything it touches. Where there is light, there is clarity, and where there is clarity, there is understanding. The moment light enters a space, darkness has no choice but to flee, because the two cannot coexist. This is not only true in the physical world, but also within the mind, within the soul, and within the spaces we inhabit. To replace darkness with light is to make a conscious decision to remove everything that does not serve you, everything that weighs you down, everything that keeps you in confusion, fear, or stagnation. It is a process of filling your environment, your mind, and your life with energy that uplifts, strengthens, and empowers. Darkness does not exist on its own. It is simply the absence of light. It is not a force that actively overpowers, but rather a condition that arises when light is withdrawn. When you feel lost, burdened, or trapped, it is not because something external has defeated you, but because in some way the light within you has been dimmed. This happens through negative thoughts, toxic environments, destructive attachments, and beliefs that contradict the truth of who you are. The only way to change this is to bring back the light, to actively invite in that which restores, heals, and renews. Light cannot be forced into a place that is unwilling to receive it. It must be welcomed, nurtured, and allowed to grow. The process of replacing darkness with light begins with awareness. Many people live in darkness without realizing it because they have become accustomed to it. They do not question the thoughts that weigh them down, the emotions that drain them, or the patterns that keep them stuck. They accept suffering as normal, as if there is no alternative. But the moment awareness enters, the moment one recognizes that they are carrying burdens they do not need to bear, light has already begun its work. The simple act of questioning, of seeking clarity, of asking whether there is another way, is enough to create an opening through which light can enter. What you surround yourself with determines the level of light you allow into your life. Every word spoken in your presence, every object in your home, every person you spend time with, every thought you entertain, these things either bring light or they invite its absence. Many people unknowingly invite darkness into their lives by holding on to things that no longer serve them. They keep items tied to painful memories, they engage in conversations that drain their spirit, they consume information that fills them with fear and doubt. Light cannot fully enter a space that is occupied by the remnants of darkness. There must be a clearing, a letting go, a conscious decision to make room for something greater. Light is not only something you invite, it is something you cultivate. Just as a flame must be protected from the wind, just as a lamp must be refueled to continue burning, the light within you must be nurtured daily. It is not enough to remove darkness once and assume it will never return. Life is filled with challenges, distractions, and forces that seek to dim your light. And if you do not actively guard it, you will find yourself slipping back into old patterns. This is why discipline is essential. Discipline in thought, in speech, in action, a refusal to entertain negativity, a commitment to surrounding yourself with what nourishes your soul, an unwavering belief in the power of the light you carry. Light does not need to fight to be seen. It simply shines. A single candle can illuminate an entire room, just as a single moment of clarity can shift the course of a lifetime. When you step into a place of light, you do not need to force your circumstances to change. Change happens naturally as a result of the energy you carry. The more you cultivate light, the more effortlessly darkness disappears. You do not need to struggle against fear. You need only fill your mind with truth. You do not need to battle negativity. You need only surround yourself with things that bring peace. The presence of light renders darkness powerless. Every moment offers a choice, to move toward light or to allow darkness to remain. There is no neutrality in this. Even in stillness, you are choosing. Every word spoken in love strengthens the light. Every act of kindness, every thought of gratitude, every decision made in faith adds to the light you carry. And as your light grows, it does not only illuminate your own path, it shines for others as well. A person filled with light transforms the spaces they enter. They bring peace where there was conflict, hope where there was despair, strength where there was weakness. They do not have to announce their presence. The energy they carry speaks for itself. Replacing darkness with light is not a one-time act, but a way of life. It requires vigilance, intention, and a willingness to let go of anything that dims your spirit. It is about making space for what uplifts you, what inspires you, what reminds you of the truth of who you are. The more you surround yourself with light, the more it becomes your natural state. And as light fills your life, darkness will have no place to dwell.